Hey, how are you all doing? Thank you so much for joining me on my venture, my story about what it was like growing up as one of Jehovah's Witnesses and my pretty much lifelong experience up until my early 40s. I'm 56 now, and why I left. And this is definitely my story, and I feel the need. I'm very nervous, so excuse me. Hopefully that nervousness will wear off. But I feel the need to share this story. I've heard so many other stories out there from other people that I've seen on YouTube, and they really have inspired me and given me the courage to tell my story. It's a difficult one. There were good times, and there were many lessons, good lessons to be learned. But what eventually got me to open up my eyes was a lot of tragedy, a lot of tragic things that happened to me in my life. And I will get into those. This is going to be like reading a book. And I'm going to start off with different chapters. But I first want to start off by saying that I do respect all religions across the board. Definitely do. I have to respect others as I want others to respect me and where I stand right now in my spirituality. This is definitely my story. I'm not trying to offend anyone by anything that I say. I have done a lot of research in the past 15 years or so. Well, 10, 12 years since I left. I've done a lot of research now on what could be some things that I thought were true that are not true. And to have my eyes wide open now so far, because I still have a lot to learn. But I don't want anybody to be offended. I'm not trying to be a Bible teacher in anything that I may say, because this is strictly my personal opinion on the things that I have learned based on what I was originally told as one of Jehovah's Witnesses in those teachings. So I definitely am of the thought that our Creator gave us the freedom to choose our own path when it comes to our spirituality. And again, it's not for any of us to judge what path that might be. We all should respect that, but we all have been given that freedom. We should not be enslaved by any means to any religious faith or organization. It is our personal freedom that our Creator gave us. I truly believe that, and I think y'all down deep inside would probably have to agree with that. So let's begin. I'm going to do it like chapters. So chapter 1, this is how it began, based on my recollection of what my parents have told me. They are deceased now. Chapter 1, a knock at the door, because this is how a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses get converted. So one day, back in the early 70s, my mom was home, and this woman came and knocked at the door, and all of us know what it means when it's on a Saturday or Sunday morning, or back in the day before COVID when they used to knock on people's doors, what it meant when the doorbell rang or a knock at the door. It was most undoubtedly, almost 100% going to be some Jehovah's Witnesses. And there was a woman that came and knocked at my mom's door, and I don't know what was said, but something apparently sparked some interest in my mom. And I remember my mom telling me that whatever it was, she took some magazines, she read them, and she liked what she read. And she discussed it with my father, and eventually they both started studying the Bible, which means Jehovah's Witnesses have different publications that they like to use to help bring people into their organization. It's a way of converting, and that's their main goal. When they go door to door, it is to get you to leave your former religion to become one of Jehovah's Witnesses. That's bottom line. That is a fact. Everybody knows it. That is their goal. So my parents started studying the Bible. I believe it was in the early 70s. I was about 4 or 5 years old at the time. And up until that time, I do remember celebrating holidays, Halloween, birthday parties, all kinds of stuff, Christmas. Up until about 4, 5, 6 years old, I celebrated all those holidays. And I do have memories of them. I have pictures of them that help me recall those memories. And that slowly began to change as my parents took this religion very, very seriously. And it took them about 4 years, if I have to guess, before they actually converted and became Jehovah's Witnesses by being baptized as Jehovah's Witnesses. Because they do, regardless if you were baptized in another religion, they do go ahead and baptize you the way that Jesus would baptize, by water submersion in a pool of water. And so they did get baptized. I believe it was in 1974, if I'm not mistaken. They were baptized together. My mom waited for my dad because my dad was still kind of learning English since he came from Cuba, and it was harder for him to convert all of the English in his mind to Spanish so that he could understand what it was he was learning. They had, when you get baptized as a Jehovah's Witness, back then there were about 80 questions that you had to answer correctly, like a test. And you had to present yourself to the elders in the congregation. Those were like the higher up men, kind of like a pastor or a preacher. We call them elders. And they would get together with you a few months before the water baptism was to take place and ask you all of these 80 questions, which included memorizing a lot of Bible scriptures, a lot of the Jehovah's Witness doctrine, and things like that. And if you pass the test, in a sense, and answer, for the most part, all 80 questions correctly, you can get baptized. Ha ha! Win-win. The biggest challenge for my mom, though, that kind of held her back from going forward with becoming one of Jehovah's Witnesses was, and I remember she told me this, she had the hardest time coming to grips with the blood transfusion issue, because Jehovah's Witnesses do not believe in taking blood transfusions, no matter how dire your medical situation may have become. If you could die because you didn't take a blood transfusion, guess what? Your faith should be strong enough to say, I'll just die. Because they totally refused blood transfusions. They said it was against the scriptures. They have supposedly scriptures, 2 scriptures in the Bible, one in the Hebrew scriptures and one in the Greek, that they claim are the scriptures that prove that God said you should not have blood from another person put into your body. And so with 2 little girls at the time, my mom, she said she cried and cried and cried for weeks at the thought of, what if something had happened to one of us, me or my sister at the time? What if something happened to one of us? You know, how could she not want to save our lives if we needed blood? So that was really, really tough for her to come to grips with. Also something interesting, and I'll get into this later, even further, while my parents were studying, I was about 6, my sister was about 3. They had an some paranormal experiences that happened in their home. That was really crazy. It turns out that my grandmother had purchased from a yard sale. This is totally a true paranormal story. My grandmother had purchased from a yard sale this really cute little picture of a little boy with like guiding geese, some ducks, with a stick, and it hung over my sister's bed. And after this was put up in my sister's room, my mom and dad, as they were coming back to their room to retire for the evening, they would see my sister sleeping in the hallway outside her room. We had separate rooms at the time, so Lori would not sleep in her room at all. And my sister would tell our daddy the little boy in the picture was trying to hit her with that stick. And they thought, okay, maybe this 3-year-old, she's just got a crazy imagination, whatever. They would put her back to bed. Everything was fine. During this time, though, some puzzles started to fit as to maybe something else was going on, because my dad would be lying in the bed at night and he would feel somebody grab his toes, like at the end of the bed with the covers, just grab his feet, grab his toes. And there would be nothing there. He thought maybe it was one of the cats, but it wasn't the cats. It was somebody tried to grab his toes. And then there were some like weird scratch marks on their bedroom wall. So what they did, because they were concerned about this happening for I'm guessing a month or so, that they called the elders over to discuss this with them. And the elders said that the reason why these things were happening to them is because Satan knew he was going to lose them, and because they were wanting to become Jehovah's Witnesses, that Satan was attacking them, personally attacking my family, and doing these things. Well, that was not it at all. We never believed that was it at all. Because come to find out, my sister kept still sleeping in the hallway, and the same explanation, the boy's trying to hit me. So they got to thinking that maybe there was something about that picture. And so my dad, it was made of wood, it was an old picture back in who knows how old it was, because this was the early 70s, so it was something that was made of wood. So my dad tried to burn it, because the elder said there might be something in the house, that you need to get rid of, blah, blah, blah. And he tried to burn it outside, poured gasoline on it, tried to light it up, and this thing would not burn, which goes against, normal wood mixed with gasoline, light it up, it will burn. So my dad was a really, really strong guy, very muscular. So he ended up ripping the picture in pieces. And he told me that when he was ripping the picture in pieces, he heard like a paranormal, creepy voice kind of escape the picture and leave. So that we've come to find out the picture was like demon possessed. And things, I don't know if you all believe in that or not, but there's so many stories out there that things can be possessed by Satan's demons and evil spirits. So that was a really weird time. But again, the Jehovah's Witnesses said, oh, it's because you're changing from Baptist to Jehovah's Witness that's why these things are happening. So then, of course, no more holidays after my parents got baptized. And being little, it didn't really affect us too much until we got older. And let me think, what else do I want to say? Yeah. Oh, also, when you are a Jehovah's Witness, new, and you have family members who are not Jehovah's Witnesses, it is pretty much a requirement that you disconnect to a certain extent your visits or relationships with these people, grandparents, personal family members, cousins, aunts, uncles. If they're not Jehovah's Witnesses, you're really not allowed to or recommended to associate with them, because they feel that if you did do this, that they can sway you back into your old religion and take you away from being Jehovah's Witnesses. In a sense, they were considered like bad association. So that was really difficult for both my mom and my dad. They kind of were hypocritical and broke the rules anyway. We still visited with my grandparents, but not on holidays, but it was very limited. Through the years, it got better because, it's still family. Why can't we hang out with our own family, regardless if they're Jehovah's Witnesses or not? But the Jehovah's Witnesses, I guess, were just so afraid of losing their members that they told you, be careful with even your family, because they can, steer you away and bring you back into the bad, wicked world of other religions, which is just so crazy. It's just really crazy. But that will be chapter 1 so far. I'm going to try to keep these short. So please subscribe. When you see this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button so that you can be informed and notified when my next video comes out. And I appreciate your time. Please share this with anybody that you want. I want to get this crazy story out there, and stay tuned for some more, because it gets really interesting. And I think you're going to really learn a lot about the Jehovah's Witnesses and what they are all about. So stay tuned for chapter 2. I'm going to try to do these once a week. So don't forget to subscribe and like this video and share it to others. And I'll see you next time. Bye.